Alright, there's a couple things I forgot to mention while making the video. When it comes to the damper setup, as I mentioned, there are 6 holes on the damper piston, and what that does is it just reduces the amount of pack as the suspension is compressing. So it just makes the suspension, I guess you could say, a lot freer as it's going through its travels. Also, I forgot to mention that I'm running around 2 to 3. Well, you can run 2 O-rings or 3 O-rings, and that's just kind of like a stop that is mainly to help out with the reaction time of the car when it's on carpet. Ideally, a lot of guys run about 3 O-rings. You can test it and get a feel of what works best for you. Another thing is the spool. I didn't mention that I was running a spool. I just used Yokomo's diff ring locks. Now, I'll do another video on the diff ring locks. I've had some issues with the diff ring locks on other axles. However, with the Yokomo axle, it's perfectly fine. I might have to show you how to build that properly so you don't damage the axle itself. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. The spool, the O-rings. I'm just going to show you quickly how I check for up travel. As you can see right here, you have the, I guess you could say, the piston rod that moves up and down. You can see it moving up and down. What I do to check my droop is I just lift the suspension up, and if I see that moving down, that means I still have some droop as well. So you want to try to set it up where when the suspension is resting and you lift up the suspension, raise it up, that shouldn't move at all. Nor should it affect the ride height either. So you want to make sure you set it perfectly. You don't want to have this rod here cranked so hard that it's actually causing the suspension to adjust on its own. You want to make sure that it's perfectly at 0 without affecting the ride height. Okay, and also taking a look at the side springs, you want the side springs just touching, but you're going to have to adjust the tweak accordingly. So what you want to do is screw them all the way up and then check the balance and sort out your tweak, and you should be good to go. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'll do another video on setting up the spool setup here. You can basically use any other manufacturer's spool, but you want to make sure that it's evenly spaced from left to right. Yokomo's setup where you add like the diff ring locks, it's quite simple and effective, and yeah, you can't go wrong with that. Other than that, other things I would suggest for options would be like Yokomo's titanium screw set. It's actually quite nice. As you can see here, they're high-end titanium screws, and they really make the car look nice. It makes them pop out. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the car. If you have any other questions, just send me a message or leave a comment, sorry, on in the comment section below. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty much gone through everything else. Everything's pretty much standard from that point. And yeah, happy racing. Bye bye.